But this year I've roped my whole family in to doing a penalty challenge. 2-0 in this. She strikes and it's past the keeper. Strikes and it's fumbled by the keeper. Inside of the post, the keeper almost in the view, like Lewis said, is the victor. 3-2. Look at his right peg and put it right past. Put it into that. It's clinical this time. I'm progressing to the next round. Oh no! Contest. And he puts away very nice control. But I don't like well takes the penalty. Father Phil goes out and Matthew Hancock progresses to the next round in that. Okay, there we go. Shootout, they shake hands at the end, but this game ended with Uncle David Grundy progressing into the next round. Another penalty, I think, but I don't remember the context of what's happening, but Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies, gentlemen, and everyone in between, and welcome back to the second part of the Bude Beach World Cup Shootout. Now, in this video, things are going to be a little bit different. For example, it's the quarterfinals, semi-finals, and final in this video, and also to the fact that the surface that we're playing on today is very different. There is a slight incline this time, and the ground is a lot more uneven in the first part of this video. So only the toughest, only the best will make it through. Now, the first matchup is between Ben and Matt, or Matt and Ben on the title card is probably the better way to put them round. And, well, unfortunately, through I don't know whose error, but it's fine, we missed Matt's first penalty, and well, I don't really remember how it went, but he did score it, and I do imagine it went something like this.
Oh no!
So with that in mind, these two are probably the favourites for this whole competition now. Ben and Matt, both young and talented, with good footballing ability between them. So whoever won this has a very good chance of winning the whole thing. So with in mind that Matt scored his first penalty, we enter. Ben steps up, knowing a miss would set the precedent for this game, but he strikes it and puts it in, sending me the wrong way. Matt, can he keep the pressure on Ben by scoring? He does. Ball back in Ben's court here. Ben strikes it, and that was deemed to be in. I made a touch to it, but it hit the inside of the post, and everyone agreed that that was a goal, so Ben replies well. Matthew strike again, sending me the wrong way. Both of them just putting it where I wasn't. Now Ben again, a confident penalty, sending me completely the wrong way, both with the skill and the knowledge of how I perform in goal. Now Matt, I did get a touch, but he still squeezed it in down the middle. Now Ben puts it right in the top corner. That was deemed again to be in right where I couldn't reach it, but not to be outdone. Matt also strikes to the opposite side right into the top corner. That penalty is the start of sudden death for these two. Ben steps up. Ben's confident, puts it where he did before, but I save it. I read him this time, and that's the game over. Only one penalty missed in 10 penalties each. A very good start to this video. Ben bows out and Matt goes through. Favourite to win this competition overall, but obstacles will stand in his way, as with everybody else. So we move on to the next shootout. The next matchup was father versus daughter. Daughter versus father, Rachel versus Uncle David Grundy. A battle for the ages, some kind of Shakespearean thing. Am I talking out my arse and should continue with the commentary? Yes I should. So we get to the first penalty, taken by Uncle David. He stands up, he strikes it, and it's past the keeper. Nicely converted, sending him the wrong way. Rachel must reply to keep this pressure going for her. She takes it and it's a good finish. He waited till the last second, but the penalty was too good anyway, despite his attempts to save it. Uncle David steps up again. He strikes and it's a decent penalty. Gave him the eyes, went the wrong way, so Rachel takes it to keep all things level, and she hits it right at the keeper. So Uncle David could put himself further ahead, and he does. Another nicely converted penalty. Now can Rachel bring it back And she does, with a nice finish, rifled into that corner. Uncle David again stepping up to put himself in control. And he does! The hand from the keeper was not strong enough and it's fumbled in, giving Rachel more of an uphill task to battle. But she deals with it well, converting that penalty again nicely. Unfortunately, the goalkeeper lets her down here and doesn't save that, making her bow out of the competition. A very good effort by her, but Uncle David Grundy goes through. And now we move on to me versus Lewis. Lewis versus me. Now, I mean, if you've watched this channel for a while, or if you haven't, well, there's this still a little ongoing rivalry between me and Lewis. Now, I could bring up and rehash in a dramatic fashion that this is a big grudge match between us two, but that's played, and you know, there's no need for me to do it again. Even, you know, though he's beaten me on my own channel twice, and I still haven't won one of these penalty shootout videos in its entirety, so he's partly responsible for that, but I'm not going to bring it up really. So we, but you know, so let's start the penalty shootout. I step up first, and I want to get my first penalty scored, so I put it in my comfortable place, and Matt can't reach it because it's too far in the corner, but it's a good effort by him. Now Lewis needs to stand up and keep this going, and he does. Put it where I did very competently, probably even a better strike, and the signature Lewis dance at the end there. I want to keep control on this game, so I make sure I convert this penalty. Putting the pressure back onto Lewis. You do need to score it, but you suffer from the same problem as your sister and put it right down the middle, so I can take firm control of this matchup, and I do. Lewis needs a response. He steps up, and he does respond really well by putting away a nice penalty under pressure to keep himself in the game. But time for playing is over as I step up and I hit it right down the middle. I tried that Panenka that Matt did, but there's only one man who can do it, and he got the same response. But I missed it. So Lewis can find himself back in the game. This is his opportunity. He stands up, but he also made the same mistake as me. But now it's my opportunity to kill off a game. No silliness like the last match. I strike an awful penalty, but it makes its way in. It was decided that that was a goal by the jury, which is everyone watching. Meaning I progress to the next round, filling another place in the semi-finals. And now we move on to the last match to see who else will join us in the semi-finals, which is Emma Hancock's versus Mama Jane. Right. I'm just saying now, I don't need to commentate over this next clip. It speaks for itself. Nothing I can say would make it better. All you need to know is that Mom took penalties first. Enjoy.
I'm stupid old. Who can say where the road goes, where the day grows, and who can say?
Everyone out! That was a good celebration for a miss.
So yes, Mom missed her first penalty. Emma could really take control straight away at the start of this game. Emma steps up, she strikes the penalty.
Phil, you do that first. Phil, you do that first.
Was that in or out, Phil?
I don't know.
Well, can't we just look on here?
Do you want to stop it and look?
I'll stop here.
There we go, who's in then?
It's been decided that that was a penalty in. So Emma goes 1-0 up after some deliberation. And if you look, it does actually cross behind the post. So Emma rightfully goes 1-0 up.
Phil, how cold, do you think he's going to be sleeping on that settee tonight, love? All on your own. It's very comfortable.
Do I even need to be here? This just talks for itself. I mean, Emma can respond by putting herself further in front at this point. And I mean, she does. See, look, this is just a shambles at this point. This is a complete shambles. I don't know what it is. I guess I was going to go the other way, but then I just couldn't sort my feet out. Look, I skipped to go the other way, and that amazing penalty goes in, and Emma finds herself 2-0 up. So, Mom, oh, she's back again. She couldn't even get it up the hill, but it's like, what am I... Emma can take further control now after another missed penalty by Mom. But this time she strikes it straight into my arms, the only place where I can save it, seemingly. But wait a minute. Mom looks a bit... Wait, Mom? Mom looks a bit different, doesn't she? Yo, Mom, you're good. Oh, that was a good penalty. I mean, Mum just pulled it out the bag there, a moment of inspiration, and she took some very clinical penalty away. It was a pretty good finish in the end, like a nicely taken penalty. I went the wrong way. What can I say? Now Emma misses this, but then they came to the agreement that if Mum misses, then that's it, the game's over, because even my mum knew that this had just got ridiculous at this point. And Emma wins, and Mom goes out after whatever that was, taking the final semi-final place. What a competition that was, a true battle for the ages. I don't know what to tell you. What am I meant to tell you? I'll do a full video on that penalty shootout soon, so you can see all the bits that I missed out, because I missed out a lot. But anyway, continuing with the penalty shootout, we now move on to the last four, where the first matchup was me against Uncle David Grundy. So this match is underway as I step up for the first penalty. I strike it, but unfortunately too close to the keeper, and he saves it. Now Uncle David steps up for his penalty, but to the same effect with a decent strong arm by the keeper. This gives me a chance to put myself in front on the second penalty. I run up, and it's hit the post. That was decided by myself that I'd missed that, smacking it right against the post. So Uncle David can take the front, and he doesn't. He saved it, and he goes. Some excellent recovery from Uncle David there. A celebration, although he didn't even score. And now again have the chance. But again, another fantastic save by Matt, whose two stints in goal have already been better than all of mine. So will anyone penetrate Matt's goal? And they will. A tame effort under Matt it goes. And Uncle David goes 1-0 up. But then I respond with a good penalty to bring it level. Uncle David can put himself firmly in control, but it's right at the keeper. So now I can flip this in 2 penalties and take the chance to go in front myself. And I don't miss. I put it away to his right. But Uncle David sends him the wrong way, and Lewis is rather excited about that. So I need to keep the pressure up, and I put it wide. A feeling that is all too familiar. Uncle David can take the ascendancy, but is tipped over by the keeper, which gives me a chance again to put myself in front. And I do. Competent penalty. But Matt, at the last second, saves it, and the competition is over. It is a win for me, and I have found myself through to the final. In my own video, in my own competition. It's complete coincidence. I did not pay anyone off to have this happen, I promise. So now who will be joining me in the final? It's brother versus sister. Emma Hancock's versus Matthew Hancock's. Now ladies and gentlemen, if you think this is going to be easy content, it won't. Shown by Emma converting a lovely penalty to open the scoring. She's here for a reason. But then Matt steps up, and I decide to actually pull my finger out my arse and actually decide to dive and save it, taking a note out of his book. 1-0 Emma. Now she can put home her ascendancy, but it's tipped over the bar, deemed to be a miss, that one. Well, Matt can respond now by putting himself back level in this competition, but he did what I did earlier, and that was deemed not to be a goal. Now Emma strikes one, and this shot actually sailed directly over the post, so it was considered it would be posted out. So Matt has another chance to get back into this one. But I stick out a late arm, and the ball spirals past her after 3 each. It's only 1-0 to Emma. Again, Emma having the chance to put herself cleanly in front. She strikes, and it's straight at me. Now Matt, will he make a mistake? Not this time. I should have probably saved that. It slipped through my fingers. But he is now level. trying to psych Emma out. It's worked so far, the times I've tried. But unfortunately, not this time, as she steps up and she strikes a clinical penalty to put her back in front. But then Matt responds beautifully. Emma taking this big run up as we're entering the vital part of this competition. Can she make it 3-2 to herself? She can't, she strikes it right at me, which means Matt now has the chance to win it with this penalty. If this goes in, he reaches the final. He stands up, he strikes it and it's in. And he's through to the final, which means it is then me versus Matt. Well done to Emma for putting in a fantastic fight, but in the end, Matt was afraid just a little bit too clinical and put the game to bed. But now, we move on to the final. Now, of course, this is actually quite a poetic final for me versus Matt. As I've mentioned before on this channel, this whole competition, this whole Bude World Cup started around about 7 years ago when me and Matt were finding a way to entertain ourselves in the day. We made these competitions for when we got back home to play in the back garden of the place we stayed, called the Bude World Cup, where we would pretend to be different countries with a knockout tournament basically set up like the actual World Cup. And then we continued doing this and it grew and we had actual like paperwork for it. And basically most of them ended in penalties. We just wanted the competition to finish that way. It made it more dramatic if we ended it in a penalty shootout. So it's quite fitting that me and Matt are in this final together on a penalty shootout to see who will win this great garden Bude World Cup shootout. Me, hopefully looking for my first triumph in one of these versus Matt, who has beaten me before and on most of the Great Garden shootouts. My first and only victory was in 2012. So without further ado, let's go. Each penalty comes with massive pressure, so I step up first and I convert it past the reach of Ben, who made a good effort for it. So now on to Matt's shoulders, who also puts his penalty away nicely. I step up and I put it in my safety position, I like to call it. A bit closer to Ben than I intended, I believe. Now Matt to level things up again, and he does. We decided to move back at this point because we actually were rather close, and this is where it went downhill for me. Ben saves it, and I feel like at this point onwards I began to lose my head. But Matt did as well, as he steps up. He looks, he's confident, he's done this before, but he slices it wide. Not a great penalty, not too far off, but he sliced it dramatically, which gave me a chance to put myself back in front, but I whack it wide of the target. Now Matt can go for further control, and he does. He puts himself firmly in it. And we're now on the point of, if I miss, I lose this competition.
Counted, and I number amongst that list Gareth Southgate. And Cook has saved them. And Germany are so close now.
And it's all too familiar as a strong hand from Ben palms it wide, and Matt wins the competition altogether. I now come for my interview.
How do you feel?
I'm rather disappointed. I think Lewis paid off the goalkeeper. It's a very familiar ending to one of these. But I am proud of me and my team.
There he is. Thinking what he's going to do with his prize money.
Somewhere better. Mine would have just gone to a hot tub. He was going to something better. Do you want to help her? See, I'm a good person even though I've lost.
Thanks.
No worries.
And with that, the Bude World Cup penalty ends. We draw a veil over it, and Matthew comes away the victor. He was the deserved winner in the end. If you look at the penalty shootout as a whole, he probably dominated it more than I did. He got past Ben, which is someone I probably would have lost against anyway. But I'm proud I got there. But as we finish our 7th video of the Great Garden Shootout and this technical spin-off, I once again have lost. Maybe next time, I very much doubt it. But thank you for watching these 2 videos. I really hope you enjoyed it. This was super fun to make and take, and hopefully everyone have had fun taking part in it. And even though it was a bit of a pain to edit, I hope the videos have come out how I wanted it. So if you liked it, please leave a like and subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you in the next video.